welcome to the Karen Mitches podcast. Today we have Joe Baker.
Hi-ho.
Thanks so much for being on.
Thanks for having me.
How has your weekend been?
The weekend, waiting for today's warm weather finally. So literally watching the clock. I'm like, oh, just give me some vitamin D.
It was a crazy month, right?
Crazy season. But yeah, and I remember just Sunday just being like, it's fucking June 1st. Where's the summer?
Yeah.
Anyway, here we are.
Cold winter and then just the longest post-winter.
Just dragged it out. Oh, well, Mother Nature just loves to rear her head sometimes. Like, man, let me sing a who's bus.
And it was actually this Friday I did your show at Comedy Bar.
That was fun.
All Star Bitches.
I love that show.
I love that show too.
It's got a good feeling to it. That was I ran that at my club for years, and then when the pandemic hit, I took it there.
Sweet.
So yeah.
So your club was the Underground.
Underground, yes, Underground Comedy Club.
And that was sort of like an institution in the East End for a lot of years, right?
Yeah, it was. It was basically a social club. We didn't do just comedy. We did all kinds of stuff there, but it was predominantly comedy because that's my jam. But yeah, so people would rent the space to do their events, or we had burlesque shows there. We had all kinds of fun stuff. A lot of weed events.
Were you programming most of the events, or it was a mix?
I basically just had it's a rental policy, so people would just say, "Hey, can I rent the room?" And I would just tell them the rate, and they would go, "Yeah, I don't know."
And then for the comedy stuff, were you running that?
I would subcontract that, like how Comedy Bar does.
Yeah.
So people would book a certain time slot, and then I would do a certain amount myself. So a lot of the big names that we would get in, some of them were other people that brought those names in, and sometimes it would be me. Just whoever foot the bill got their name on the poster. But the weekly shows that we would do, one of the most popular one was Jeff Paul ran a show called Dope and Mike, and ran that for 5 years. And that on a Wednesday, we'd have 60 to 80 people out every week.
That's crazy.
On a Wednesday. It was nuts. It was awesome.
Anyway. Were they coming for, like, was Jeff doing something special to get them?
I mean, he's a great producer. He puts on fantastic, really good show, even though, he self-deprecates a little bit too much. But he's got such a great roster to his name. Like, just every week, there'd just be heavy hitters. At least once a month, Mike Wilmot would be there. Rob Pugh would be there. Just people would just come from all over. A lot of people who moved to the States. Matt O'Brien was always there. Julia Lakovich. Steph Tolov would always be there. Just these really, really big names.
Yeah.
And they just come for a weed cookie and a set. Yeah, I got to practice for this gala coming up or this festival coming up. So they would use the room that way and make jokes about how comics never get paid. I'd be like, I'm just renting the room. Like,
yeah,
we got to get paid.
Do you think like the weed orientation of it helped the vibe a lot?
Oh yeah, that was the vibe for sure.
Because I get like I started comedy after COVID, and when I talk to people about pre-COVID, I get a lot of negative feedback on what this scene was like, except around you and your club. Like people just yeah, people would once in a while why do you have so and so on the stage? And I would call it as a joke. One day I called it my workshop of broken toys. That's where we are. We were just a bunch of broken toys trying to put ourselves back together again. But yeah, so then that was a lot of the shows that were just not the big name shows, just like the Toronto scene, just coming and getting high and telling jokes and healing themselves that way. I think actually the only weed crowd that I've done is another show that you were doing last summer. I can't think of
show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's the venue that you did the patio shows at?
Well, for a long time we did it at a Spirit Leaf in Cabbagetown, which had a really nice patio. I think that's the first one you did.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they closed up. Sorry, guys. Rest in peace. But that's the way the market's been going.
Yeah.
All these weed stores closing up left, right, and center. And so we just suddenly, and we had no notice because it was a corporation. It's a Spirit Leaf. It's not like we're going to dog it out until the landlord kicks us out. They were just like, sorry, we're closing next week. I'm like, what? But what about 2 weeks notice, like a job would give you or something? Just like, done, all of that income gone. So we put out fuck. And Spirit Leaf, Green Merchant on the Danforth stepped. Oh, we got a cute patio. And I'm like, I'm coming there next week.
Nice.
So we only skipped 1 week.
Okay.
And now we're there. So we're starting that up again. Finally, it's warm. So tomorrow we start.
Sweet. Okay, so, but I get kind of why they might have closed. Okay, this was the crazy thing. I was there to do your show, and it was summertime. So I'm like, oh, I'm thirsty. I need a Coke. And they couldn't sell me.
No, they can't. No dispensary can. It's a fucking government rule.
They made a rule. So this is, if you're a weed dispensary, you cannot sell
anything unless there's weed in it.
So you can't have...
Or paraphernalia. They can sell you rolling papers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I would run these shows,
crazy.
And I would buy cases of water, and they would keep it under the counter. Sometimes they would buy cases of water, and we would just, no, you can have it free. You can have it free. Please don't give us money. Please don't give us money. Like,
it sounds made up. It sounds
I have a whole bit about it.
It sounds like if we were like a sketch comedy duo back when it was illegal, and we were like, let's make a sketch about the government makes it legal, but then gets everyone to stop smoking weed by just having the worst rules and ruining weed culture.
I sometimes wonder if they do. But the bit I like go for is that it's like weed makes you dehydrated.
Yeah.
Why the one thing? Oh, if we put weed in the water, though, they can sell it.
And this is the thing
with me. But bars can sell me water. Some in order to be open like all day long, they have to sell you food and water. They have to be able to, period. They're not allowed to not. Whatever. Baby steps. At least the weed's getting a bit better. It used to be so terrible.
So even though I don't smoke weed, I think it would be... I think about like how a weed business would work, because I think like it would be fun to run one. Like... Well, I guess it's hard to run any business, but just like the aesthetic of weed is fun, and like all the accoutrements and the fact that it makes people hungry. You could have so many cool little snacks and beverages. Like
all these dispensaries that closed down could have survived if they had a little restaurant attached to it.
Yes.
Or it had little space for people to hang out and just get high and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. Like that would be all of my friends. Oh, I'm just going to go grab another chocolate bar. Oh, I'm going to just get some chips now. Oh, I'm going to get some, I need a pop. They make way more money off of that than they would off the weed. What are you going to do? So, I know the government wants the lounges. I think they just don't want to deal with the aftermath. People greening out, I guess, or tourists coming and, I don't know, fucking spending money. I don't get that. Anyway.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I get that I wouldn't want to be a place that people travel to do drugs. But since it's like is it across the country?
Weed legal?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They have, each province has different bylaws, though. So, for example, in Alberta, they have the ability you can have a weed show if it's in a private setting. So they have these weed shows, these weed comedy shows out there. Sterling Scott runs a bunch of them. But they don't, like, no one's selling weed, no one's doing anything illegal. But because it's not a weed cafe, it is a private place just for that. Yeah. Open only for that, closed only for that. They can do it. So at that point, like, I know that there's places, though, Montreal, way stricter. You can't smoke anywhere. You can't even smoke weed in a park. Period. You can't smoke anything anywhere in public. Like, they're the biggest smokers in all of the country.
In Montreal?
Yeah, super, super strong bylaws with smoking. So, yeah. Before that, though, the tourism, oh my God, the tourism was incredible. Peak 2017. Mwah. I would get tourists coming from all over the world coming in like, oh my God, I'm here. I'm like, oh, fuck. So, do you want to pop? And they'd just be so astounded. People would come up from the States once a year, and that I would be on their list of places. They'd go to my place. They'd go to Vapor Central. They'd hit all the, because it was free and it was safe.
Yeah.
It wasn't legal, but it was safe.
Yeah.
And they were never going to get in trouble. Yeah. Oh, well, those were the days.
So the best thing isn't legal. It's almost legal.
Exactly. Gray areas are the best.
Even I think, like, there were a lot of, like, I feel like a lot of my friends were buying weed from, like, somebody in their neighborhood who, you know, like an older person or a disabled person.
Someone out of their garage. Someone out of their garage.
Yeah.
Straight up. All the time.
So it was a good little money maker
so
for somebody who might be, like, underemployed or...
Yep. And that they don't have that anymore. Not totally true. Because the government weed isn't that good. It's getting better. It's still, there's still people who have their bros, their girls, whoever they buy from.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's some mom who's paying the bills.
Yeah.
But because she gets something better than the government or he, oh well. That's why people go to the reses. If you go to Six Nations or any of the, like Oneida Cannabis Store down in London, or there's, I forgot the one that's out by Belleville. Yeah, they have way better weed. They have the best weed anyway.
Oneida Cannabis is in London?
Yeah.
That's where I'm from.
Oh, nice. They sell my teas.
That's awesome. So your weed products are under Puff Mama.
Yeah.
Which is how I initially knew you. I think when I first met you, I had to be like, and what's your name?
What's my actual name? Yep. Puffmama.ca I got in basically when the internet got invented. I don't know, like, it wasn't that. But not too far after, but everyone was just getting websites, and I was like, oh, I should get one.
Oh.
And I had it, God, I want to say 2004.
That's amazing.
I've had it since.
I feel like in 2004, I bought a book on HTML and never made any websites.
Oh, someone else made my website at first.
Websites for dummies.
My first website there was just a landing page.
Yeah.
For the longest time. Just like, here I am, here's my phone number, it's like a business card online. And now everybody's got, like, I've got videos up, this video will go up.
But now the computer, like, teaches you how to do it, right? Everything is user-friendly. But it used to be like, if you wanted to do stuff online, you had to, like...
Yeah, I had to do it or know an HTML.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a chick build my website, my friend Andrea. She was the first HTML person I knew. And I was like, she's like, oh, yeah, no problem.
What is the internet? And can you do it for me?
And I remember being like, oh, I don't want this. People just come. Here's a flyer. What the fuck? Like a paper. I remember paper flyers. That's how I started with paper flyers. I often ran out of business cards. I'd be like, no. Here, I'll write my number down on a piece of paper. And I'd be annoyed. And now I just like, fuck, I got to get my reels out every day by 2:00 or I don't know, whatever.
Did you ever know this weed place that was on Breadalbane near like Young and Wellesley?
Kindred?
Was that what it was called?
Kindred Cafe.
They
were one of the first.
I used to live upstairs from them.
Oh, wow.
They let us use their Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's so sweet.
They were they were like a coffee shop, but they
had those famous milkshakes.
It was like sometimes they made really good coffee, sometimes they made terrible coffee, and the price would change just based on who was working. So you could go there and get like a really cheap, perfectly made latte if it was one girl, and then like the next day it'd be like funny. Expensive and there's grinds in it.
That's so funny. My friend Tracy Curley, she passed away a few years ago. She was one of the managers there.
Aww.
And she, if you ever remember a tall, loud redhead, that would have been her. Anyway. That's so funny. Yeah, no, they had the little rooftop patio, so we would beeline for there, make it up to the steps and meet all kinds of crazy people. But yeah, Hotbox was the very first one in Kensington, and Kindred Cafe was the second one.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when did you get yours started?
Not too long after, 2008. We opened.
Amazing. Were you already into stand-up when you opened?
I never was doing stage work then. I met the comedy world in about the year 1998 when I got a job as a waitress in a comedy club that doesn't exist anymore called Comedywood. It was on Bloor near Avenue. And I worked there. They had a big one up in Vaughan. That's the one everyone knows about. But they had a little tiny one downtown for about 2 years, and I worked there for most of it. And yeah, met a lot of really great people there, and comedians I know to this day. And I was just like, I love these people, like, and just got sunk right into that world right away.
That's
and
amazing.
Started producing shows pretty short after that. So yeah, comedians are the best and the worst, but the best. It's true.
It is like a weird club to be part of.
Yeah, it's kind of like an extended dysfunctional family where it's like we don't feel like we're a part of the rest of the world, probably because we're observers. You can't be a comedian if you're not an observer.
Yeah.
Storyteller comedians, that's a different story. I'm talking about people who are talking about the world. But most comedians will, a lot of them are super quiet. I bet you're really quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
But then some are just really ornery. But then you're watching and you're thinking, you're turning, you're like, okay, I got to tell people about this thing I saw or point out this juxtaposition. That's weird.
I was at this like event I was with my brother and his wife and their kids, and my brother was like, Karen's like the foreign nanny because she never talks.
Well, I don't know you as that client, sure. But yeah, no, I think it's good to watch and look at the world and see what's going on.
Yeah.
People don't really notice. They're just so involved with their own little world, or they're involved with their phone, or they're worried about something that happened a while ago or isn't happened yet. Like, they don't live in the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, comedians are pretty good at living in the moment. You have to.
It makes for a disorganized group of people, though.
Oh, yeah. It's worse than that organizing cats slogan. Oh my God. That's why I didn't, like, when I had to close my club up, I was like, okay, what shows am I going to do? Because I don't want to have to, for me to organize a big show anymore and take it to another venue, it was just like, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
I just don't have that in me. And to organize certain shows that maybe I'm not that demographic. So I was like, I had to give up some formats because I was like, okay, well, I'm not that demographic. I shouldn't be doing that. But as a venue, it was different to host that. So to try and hold in, like, obviously, Bitches is perfect because, like, that's me.
Yeah.
And people want to see that, and they want to see it from a specific demographic of person. So, yeah, that's kind of where I had to go with that. And also trying to, wrestling with the weed world, because there's all these weed comics, and everyone knows me from the old days, but then there's all these new comics that are like, who are you? And I'm like, And I just go about my day. I'm nobody.
I'm
nobody. It's cool. I'm nobody. But in the end, I only put 13. It's the hard work that I want honored, not me per se.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like I want the club to be honored, not me. I want people to forget that all that collective energy. Don't want it to just like fall to the winds of time. Whatever. I gotta write my story.
Are you thinking of writing your story?
Probably. It's got to get out there. There's money involved in it, sure.
I would love to help you. I'm obsessed with memoirs.
Oh my God.
My favorite podcast is just like these girls who like read memoirs. It's called Celebrity Memoir Book Club. But now I'm like, I totally know what a memoir needs.
I thought of what I wanted to do is maybe start. Okay, well, I used to have my own podcast at the club, and we are restarting it now. I found a space to do it.
Nice.
So it was called Puffcast. But this time I thought the way I want to bring it back is by having a series where it's only like a lot of the OG comics who were there, like Sandra Battellini, my girl. Like she won't let everyone and forget about the club because she had a big part of that. So having, storytelling
Yeah.
during the, so that we have this segment where we story tell. But then I thought, well, it'd be better to have like someone, like if I just get a dictaphone. Oh my God, I say dictaphone? Wow. I'm just taking myself. My voice memo. I'm not even high. That's the problem. Anyway, so we start recording the stories, just like, oh yeah, this one time. Maybe call it the story this one time. That could be the call of my book. But then maybe write the book non-linear. Because to write, I don't think I could ever remember what happened beginning to end.
What if you had guest writers within the memoir? So you're telling like a broader story, and then you have like and now from, and you have like people who come in and tell.
Someone would have a better perspective and be better writers. Hunter
thinking,
Collins
like,
could do that real well. Oh my God. He's a crazy writer. You know Hunter?
No.
Oh my God, you need to know Hunter Collins. He's a brilliant comic. But does a lot of writing, and he did a lot of world traveling. Fucking probably the most brilliant comic I know. Sorry, a lot of you guys are. Anyway.
What have you thought in terms of like how the scene has changed over the years?
The scene has changed. Well, people are just as shallow as they always were. Pandemic proved that. But it's just a different kind of shallow now with the digital age. I'm having a hard time trying to... Like, AI, I can't fucking stand it. I can't. So sometimes I'll look at... I got to skip the video because I know it got enhanced. Like, I don't mind if it's a little bit, you used...
Yeah.
To clean things up or to like sync things better. But then like, I don't know, a bunch of American comics, I'm not going to name names because I know a lot of these guys and I want to nail them on it, but they're making their podcasts like babies. Have you seen this trend?
No.
I think some of the skanks did it and some of the guys in LA are doing it, but I was like, no, I don't want to, you guys are the filthiest guys I know, and now I'm looking at babies. Like, no, get your AI babies out of face. Or when you just see like all this weird art, like especially video art, morphing art, where it's like, is that real? And then I'm like, no, don't clickbait me because it gets fucking weird. Some snake is gonna come out of somewhere and do something weird, or like,
yeah,
it's gonna turn into a demon. I can't take it. People are obsessed with it. It's fucking creepy, and we're showing our colors. So I hate that that's seeping into comedy, and comedy to me is a very tactile, everyday thing that requires human beings, not stuff.
Yeah.
We're using this stuff as a tool to get out to people, and along the way, computers are going to have to be used for that to happen. But when, like, I can't stand auto-tune. Like, I won't listen to half the fucking rap out there because of fucking auto-tune. I hate it. So I'm talking through a computer. You have a beautiful voice. Like,
how do you think that COVID showed how shallow we are?
Well, for a hot minute when everyone was in pain, we were all opening doors for each other and buying things for each other and thinking about the homeless. And then just suddenly when like, oh, well, the virus isn't that big. Oh, that's fine. We're not going to die. Fuck you, slam doors in people's face. It was just wild to watch. I'm from a small town, so I hate that house city. Toronto versus everybody came back with a vengeance. And the apathy is everywhere again. But
what town
it's a different kind of Orangeville. It's more of a suburb bedroom town now, but it was a small town when I was there. And also, I traveled all over Canada. I did a lot of moving around as a kid. So I lived in Saskatchewan for a little while. That was fun.
What ages were you there for?
Between 8 and 10.
Amazing.
So I'm like, everything's magical when you're 8. So it didn't matter where I was. But definitely not in a big city until I was 19, really.
And then
Halifax didn't count. I was there for college.
Oh. That's like, I think I'm jealous of people who were in Halifax for college.
I went to art school there.
Oh, fuck off. Were you at NASCAD?
I was.
Oh my God.
I dropped out. I'm an art school dropout turned comedian.
I don't know, like, if you I just feel like getting there and being there is the fun,
Oh my God, I had boatloads of fun. That was like, my mom was like, you have to go to college somewhere. You cannot skip. She wouldn't let me have a year in between because then I get lazy and I wouldn't end up going or find a job and get stuck in it. So I had to go to college right away. So I was like, art school? She's like, off you go. So my mom's an artist, so she doesn't have a problem with that. But yeah, Halifax is a lot of fun. That's a great town, especially if you're young.
Yeah.
And it's safe. Like we could walk around like pissed drunk, puking in like the gutter, and nothing's gonna happen. Anyway.
And then why'd you come to Toronto? I guess it's near where you grew up.
Yeah. I just wanted to. I don't know. Just one day I was like, I'm coming here, and I just moved here rather suddenly. Just sometimes you just get sick of small towns. Small town people will just be like that. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm 19. No, out, go. And I didn't know anybody when I moved here at all. I moved to the beaches, me and my dog. And then slowly started moving and meeting people and working in bars and restaurants. Until I ended up at the comedy bar that I worked at, Comedywood it was called. Anyway.
And then from Comedywood, you eventually ended up opening your own place.
Yeah, after I did a lot of like moving around the city, renting out venues to put on shows. And then we found this hall. It was called the Latvian Hall. It doesn't exist anymore. It's a facade of a condo over on College.
Oh my God. Everything we value one day will be the facade of a condo.
It's so weird and sad what's going on there. But at least they keep part of the building, so when you're walking along the street, you don't completely feel like you're in Glassland. But yeah, this hall was really fun. And we would just rent this hall out, put on these crazy parties where I just like invite in all these different people, and we'd all collectively put on these crazy weed parties. It's fun.
Was it scary when you actually opened the club?
No. Stressful, yes. Totally, because now I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to pay rent every month, a lot of it, rather than just that night.
Yeah.
But, you know, like rent for a venue would be like anywhere from $700 to $2,000, even then. But, you know, you'd get a giant place, you'd sell out your seats, and you get your money back. Hopefully everyone gets paid. Sometimes they don't. But most of the time we did. Most of the time we did bank, really. It was only one time when I had a hard time because we had a sudden snowstorm. It was just like 4 people showed up in this giant hall.
Oh my God.
Because we didn't have digital sales back then. And people had bought tickets, but they just couldn't get there through the storm.
Oh shit.
So we had to like redo it, and then my comic was like, well, I want to get paid again. I'm like, I understand.
Fuck.
Anyway, it was a lot of fun. And then I just found the space, opened her up, and off we went. I miss that money.
Was it easy money? Hard money?
It was good money. Yeah, it was easy because no one was doing it. So I also sometimes would go to festivals and like vend cookies at weed festivals. So sometimes I'd walk away with like 5-10 grand.
Shit.
3 days and just be like falling out of my pockets. Yeah, festival money's good if you've organized. Even legitimate festival money, you can make several $1,000s just selling hot dogs in one night. So profit. So that's why those guys do it. Anyway, yeah, it was good money. It was good times. Whatever. It'll be good times again. The economy's coming back.
Yeah.
I know people hate Mark Carney, but I heard our GDP is up 0.2% or something.
Do people hate Carney?
Oh, I know so many people that hate him. So it's just some people are just going to be diehard, whatever they are. And people are just going to hate him.
Is it the Fuck Trudeau group, or is it like the leftist group, or both?
I think some people don't trust because he's a money guy.
Yeah.
And I float back and forth between all the parties, to be honest, depending on who the person is.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I did vote Carney because I was like, we need a money guy. Like, look what's happening to our money. That guy has his name on money. Why don't we vote that guy? You better not fuck up, money guy. Like, that's all I could think. Like, I know nothing about politics, so I was just like, if he sucks, we can just get rid of him in 4 years and hope he doesn't do damage. Like, but like to put someone who has no experience with that particular issue. Why wouldn't we vote for that? But then people are like, yeah, but he knew Epstein. I was like, did he? There's one photo of him. Like, anyway, whatever. I don't think he's a diddler.
I don't think so.
You're in finance, so you know a bit more.
I know who the diddlers are because I'm in finance.
I'm sure there's a percentage of diddlers in every industry.
It's weird though, because I think about this sometimes, like every industry has everything. Like you don't think about like people doing drugs at work in like a lot of industries.
Oh, I bet blow is huge in your industry. I bet.
Statistically speaking, one of the ones that it's highest in is like the medical profession, because they have more access.
They have access, yeah.
So
and
like,
the stress.
Yeah.
The stress in the job, you need to go 14 hours. How could they do that? How can you make a doctor go 14 hours?
Yeah. It seems like the wrong group of people to keep up all night.
Well, that's why I don't want robots to touch me, but maybe brain surgery, because that's 14 hours that guy is sitting there on my brain and he's not doing blow. Fuck.
I feel like a lot of surgery will be like semi-automated.
Yeah, it's starting. I don't know. I think like there's a lot of bad doctors out there, a lot of bad dentists, there's a lot of bad surgeons. Mm-hmm. I have this scar right here from an accident, and part of it, the one doctor started stitching, and my friend that was with me, he was like, what are you doing to her face? And kicked the doctor out of the emergency room, and another doctor came in and finished the stitching. And to this day, that's where it gives me problems, because he buckled the skin as he was sewing it up. And like, so yeah, my friend was there. He's like, what are you, like, I can tell you suck. Get out. And I remember being like, it's fine. Don't embarrass me. I'm so glad he kicks in the rest of my face isn't fucked up.
I love that friend of yours. Everybody needs.
We need a friend like
somebody
that.
Like that.
But yeah, if a robot did it, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Just clamp the head so it doesn't move. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess like
better dentistry is probably coming our way. Robots take that over.
Yeah,
I had some bad dentistry, so my teeth are suffering because of that. But anyway, whatever. Also because they're shitty.
I remember like when I got my wisdom teeth out, my dentist really wanted me to take like laughing gas, because I guess like the patient's more docile, so it's easier for the dentist. But I had like really poor mental health at the time, so I'm like, I can't take laughing gas. I'll have a nervous breakdown. And we got into like a dispute over it. So it would have been nice to have a robot just take it out and not try to force me to do drugs.
I love laughing gas.
Yeah.
There's this laughing part, but then there's this like, that's it. You're just like.
So you laugh for a bit and then you get sleepy.
Yeah, there's this giggle. You'll see people at festivals do it all the time. You'll see people sucking on balloons. That's got nitrous in it, which is the same thing the dentist has. And yeah, it's hella fun. Kills a lot of brain cells. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. But definitely the calm afterwards. Oh my God, it's nothing. It's like the best joint in the world. But joints don't kill brain cells.
What do you think about CBD?
CBD is good. It's not for everybody, but definitely a lot of people are, like ibuprofen's not for everybody, but it's along that pain level of relief. How aspirin or ibuprofen works, only it works in its own different way. It helps nerves. So if you have bad nerves, taking a lot of CBD will help calm you down. But if you have hypertension, it might not work the same. Or if you're like really high strung, you're like, take all this CBD. I'm like, yeah, but you also took 15 coffees. It just ain't gonna work. So yeah, you have to kind of change your own lifestyle too.
Yeah,
I think some people don't do that. They'll do that with anything though too.
Yeah,
they'll just, it ain't working, and then so your mind, if you say it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. And definitely there's two kinds. So you can get CBD that's derived from the hemp plant, which most people want, but that's not actually the strongest. So I tell people, when you're buying CBD, try and look on the label to see if it says made with CBD isolate, which is where they create the chemical, like they take it out pure. It's purer than a resin. It's purer than, basically looks like a white powder, like cocaine. It's pretty sketchy looking. But yeah, that's what they add in, and that is actually way better. Way more effective.
Okay.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
So when you were taking your show to Comedy Bar, was that like a no-brainer that it would go there?
At the time, yeah. I mean, he was going through, a changeover as well, and was very welcoming to have it.
What was his changeover?
Just different shows. Like, some people didn't want to deal with the rules of having COVID rules, of having the mask, having the jab. Some people wouldn't get the jab.
Oh, right, because there was that. I forget. But
there was like the whole community was split during that time, and I'm trying to be like, I'm just in the middle. I love everybody.
Because I missed this because I came later, but I guess there was that period where we could go out, but there was a lot of rules, so things were just opening up.
Yeah, that's when I joined the Comedy Bar there, and they had that big room in the downtown club that holds like 100 people. They would only let 20 people in there, and they were all like one person over there, one person here. So like on the stage, it was just like, hi, hi, hi. It was so fucking creepy and weird.
God.
And these people like, please, we need jokes. Just tell us. And they're all masked up, and like some of them are double masked, and like,
and that's
and they needed comedy that badly. They're gonna, they'll put up with all those weird rules.
But it's hard to get
showing your Vax pass. That was fucked up time.
It's hard when I would imagine it'd be hard to make people laugh when they're spaced out like that, because then people don't feel safe to like make a lot of noise.
Yeah, definitely the outdoor shows were easier. Even though outdoor shows now are not easier, then people were much more relaxed and comfortable. So I would do shows like on the sides of bars, like Redwood Theater out in Leslieville. They had this cute parking lot, so we would line up the chairs and do it outside there. And there was a couple of times the big stage at Woodbine Park. Well, no one's booking it all summer, so we just show up there.
Oh, shit.
And we'd announce it. And rather than facing the big open park, we went backwards, the hill that's behind the stage, so everyone would sit up on the hill. And we just had this natural amphitheater.
That's amazing.
And so we did that all summer during COVID. That was pretty good. Because then everyone's so far away.
Yeah.
They'll feel really comfortable. They'll bring their own chairs. And then we just smoke weed. They could drink. It was like win-win. People bring takeout food, beautiful. And we'd be in the park. That actually I would do again.
Yeah.
But that park's for concerts.
Yeah. I was like looking at this clip, and it was talking about when they filmed Vanilla Sky, the movie. There's like a scene in it where Tom Cruise is running through Times Square. It's like a dream sequence, and it's an abandoned Times Square. And they were talking about how it cost them like $1 million to get that area cleared out of people just for like 11 minutes of filming or something.
Wow.
But like COVID, you had this like brief moment where everywhere was deserted.
And they weren't allowed to film any of it. Suckers. We got AI now to put it up. I remember one time right when like it was like serious like ghost town lockdown. The city was a ghost town. And I was standing on the DVP right there at that bridge and looking out, and I'm like, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. And I remember seeing like the weeds starting to grow already. And I was like, man, we've only been on lockdown for like a couple of weeks. But like I could see the weeds growing, and I was like, oh, the apocalypse is coming. That's where it's starting, breaking up the pavement. But, it was creepy. That was a weird time.
Is it 12 Monkeys that has this scene where it's like New York being like reclaimed by nature?
They had many.
I think,
was it that one?
There's a few movies that show
definitely quite a few.
But I love like
Bruce Willis.
I don't know why. I love
plastic outfit.
I love imagery of like this city being, which like, and I'm not really like actually interested in any kind of end times happening. It's just like within fiction. I love that.
Very fascinating. I like to know potential endings. So, sometimes to me, watching a dystopic science fiction movie, I'm like, oh, that's how that could go. You know, like right now we're literally seeing 1984 happening. And that movie was, or book was so long ago written. And yet here it is down in the States. It's happening. Big Brother's watching us. You know, everything's happening. Oh, we got to burn the books. We can't talk about it. Thought police are there. The thought police. Just.
Yeah.
So weird. It's a nice metaphor.
What's your favorite end times to see in a movie? Favorite cause?
Ooh, aliens invading. I'm watching humans get blown up.
Yeah.
I'm always on the alien side. Anyway, I did often like a good virus movie until pandemic. Now I can't really watch virus movie.
Yeah.
You know, like
I never liked them. I other than 12 Monkeys, which was done so brilliant. Cool.
Terry Gilliam is fucking brilliant though. For him to do a movie like that, it's like, oh.
Yeah. Mwah. Yeah.
It was great.
He gets adventure and like magic, and
I do get into a really good storyline. Like I really loved The Expanse. I really loved it.
What's The Expanse about?
It's I mean, it was a whole book series, and then they made it into I want to say 7 seasons. But it's like a whole different world, and like, I don't know, 10,000 years into the future. But at this time, we've colonized Mars, we've colonized the Belt, we've colonized the Oort cloud. Mm-hmm. And so all those people have cultures. Like, and they war at each other. So the Martians hate the Belters, and the Belters hate Earthers. And so, but it's really hard to get into the accent that they've created, this really strange Creole. But once I got into it, I was like, this is so well written, because it's a metaphor of our own, what we're doing now, only. And the actors, the chicks in it are so tough. Anyway.
So it's a show?
Yeah. I think it's on Prime.
Okay. I have to check this out.
Really, really good. Really well written. Anyway, I love science fiction. I could go on about that.
I feel like we need a good feminist dystopia.
Oh, there's quite a few. I should make you a top 10 list. The Expanse, though, like the women in that are just kick ass. Like, one of the characters, Bobby, she's a warrior fighter, but she also has this like mechanical suit. She's completely indestructible, and so she's all like, she protects the president of Earth, who's a woman, and she's all like, stay back, and just the actor is so good. And then this other actor who plays a Belter, she's a Canadian actor named Cara G, and she's just so tough. Like, I wouldn't want to fuck with either of these women. And yeah, so that one's a good one. Anyway,
I love it. Okay, I think this is like my new show. I have to get Prime again. I only ever get it like for brief periods. I quit my Prime too. And it's always like, I want to watch this one show, and then I get Prime.
I started stealing off of B-Flix recently because I quit my Prime on principle. And I'm like, how am I going to watch these movies? So I just started streaming. I have to like close porn pop-ups, but
what
like,
are you
not
watching
paying. There's this company called, I don't know if it's one company, but it goes by B-Flix.
B-Flix.
And you have to Google what their latest website is. And sometimes hit Reddit. Some like nerd will say because they keep getting shut down. And then I'll go on there, and then you just gotta like constantly close all these fucking stupid pop-ups. But then the movie finally start playing, and it's playing. The pop-ups don't come out through the movie. But yeah, sometimes they'll just be like, damn, and they're AI cocks. So it's like, I don't even want to look at AI cock, and it's just,
is that
so much porn is filled with AI cock and tits.
It's funny because
so weird.
It's been so long, but now that I remember, one of the things about streaming was, or not streaming, pirating.
That's exactly,
it's like all that, the porn ads constantly.
Well, that's how they're making money. You know, it's stealing data, but also once in a while, someone's going to click on that, and then, fuck it, you know, and then suddenly, I don't know. But the website, the one I checked last night was a .to. Like, we have .com and .ca. I'm like, what the hell is .to? It's from a tiny island called Tonga in the middle of the Pacific. I was like, what is there? Okay, Google image search. I have to go see this tiny island that's like streaming pirate movies. Like, how did you get the internet? Like, you have a cable underneath the water? What's going on? But yeah, I'll support Tonga, whatever.
I wonder how much of their economy is.
Probably a lot. Here's a story I read recently or watched maybe somewhere, that the election, the Trump election, maybe not the second one. Yeah, I think it was the second one. Anyway, some kid in Georgia, the country, out, on the steppe in Asia, some kid figured out how to make a fake news website. So it was all fake news, but then he packed it with AdSense. So people would click on this news, and then he'd generate this AdSense revenue. And he was like, the town was making tons of dirt poor, this town. And like, they're making money, and suddenly like people have money in the town. They can afford food and things.
Oh my God.
It made actually a huge impact. But then one of the news articles he put out was negative towards Hillary Clinton. And it might have been one of the things that tipped the election. Because this fake news came out and it wasn't real about Hillary. But people you got Hillary or you got Trump to vote for. Poor Americans. Sorry, that was your choice. But so this kid is now feeling super guilty that was I one of the things that helped get, because this one article was so powerful that people in America were sharing it. People in news like Fox News was talking about. And she's like, no, this didn't happen. Like, it's fake.
When people talk about Russian troll farms, is that what they're talking about? Just like
probably
just people making money with fake news.
What a brilliant idea. You want clickbait, you want someone to click on that because you don't actually care about. It's like how recipe websites work. They're making so much money. I need to make one of them. But like, it's all that AdSense, those stupid ads that you gotta like, okay, I just want the fucking recipe, and it's broken up into 6 parts because there's 10 ads in between. So much money.
It is fucking annoying trying to get a recipe online.
Yeah.
And then take me to the recipe, and I'm like yelling at my phone.
But then you still gotta like scroll down 3 pages, even though you're at the recipe, but there's an ad. Anyway, fuck yeah, I need that. All my recipes on my website, guys, are ad-free. You can check them out.
So are they all weed cooking recipes?
Yeah, actually, I think I've toggled it off right now. I shouldn't say that because I'm revamping my website, and I'm adding all new stuff. I'm in the middle of rewriting my entire website. Takes a long time.
But some of it's still up.
Most of it's
like
up
you
there.
Can still shop on there.
Oh yeah, all
Just
of my shopping there. Like all the herbs are there for sale. Rolling papers are there for sale. But I took some. I have a T-shirt section that I'm like redoing too, so I'll have T-shirts up.
Ooh.
And then I just figured out how to do shipping. I kept putting shipping on there, and then someone on the weekend was like, it won't give me a cheaper option than $150. I'm only in Hamilton. I was like, oh my God, thanks for pointing. What did I do wrong? Shit. Like, I don't want to charge that.
Yeah.
So.
Are you wearing a Puff Mama shirt now?
Yeah, it's one of my merch shirts.
Oh my gosh.
My first logo is a fairy.
I love her.
Is she cute?
She's so sweet.
Yeah, I paid for that.
So you're selling, are you selling these now?
I had them for a long time for sale, but they'll be back up too. Okay. But I want to make ones with her. The ones I have right now is just the face. And with fun slogans on it. So I had a bunch of stickers that I used to have. Like one of them said, we got to save our planet. There's no pot on Mars. So that was one of the slogans on there. That one sold pretty good. And what was the other one? How much pot could a pot cook if a pot could cook pot? So I had that written like in funny slogans. So there'll be some up there.
I love it. Merch. Do you have other merch that's not T-shirts?
Just my herbs and rolling papers and things. I try to have a nice selection of rolling papers on my site that are not garbage. There's no zigzags.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good stuff.
Are zigzags not good?
There's arsenic in the glue.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, always see natural gum. People don't look for that, and so all these it's basically just put super glue, not quite, on the zigzags.
Oh shit.
And export, and so if you can see the color, it's like a yellow,
Yeah.
But then if you look at like a raw, which is basically, they just basically put sugar, I think. I don't know if it's sugar, but it's like something like that. You can lick it off and you're like, oh shit, that paper's useless.
Yeah.
So you got to like dab your thing and then roll it quick and then it'll stick. But then now you're not smoking some weird glue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you vape?
Yeah. I like my bong though. I'm not going to lie.
Do you think it's just because that's how you always smoked it? Like if vaping had been around when you started, what do you think you would like?
I like the convenience of like the little pens. I got one in my bag right now. So I'm at the bus stop and I'm like, oh, fuck. Then that's quick because like I don't want to sit and smoke a whole joint while I'm waiting 2 minutes for a bus.
Yeah.
But then like having a quick toot off a pen is sort of nice because now I'm not annoyed at the bus when I'm on there. So I like him for that. But when I'm at home, I don't touch my pen at all. I like my bong because it's what I've always smoked from, and I clean the water frequently, so I feel like I'm getting the carbons out. I don't know. It's also way cheaper just to put a tiny nard in there and be done.
Is your bong really cool?
No.
It's just a regular.
It's broken right now. It's got duct tape on it. I'm not going to lie.
DIY.
I'm like, I can't believe this works. Keep going.
I like the vape pens. They look cool.
Yeah, I feel bad for the environment, that what we're doing to it. I think that the weed industry could do a little better there.
What is the weed industry doing that's
just
bad?
So much plastic. The government has regulations. They're very simple. Like you can't see the weed through the plastic. That's basically it. But then they've got this, most of them is all black plastic. You'll see these, but that's not recyclable. But other plastics are.
And how does it help or make anyone safe to not see the weed?
Kids.
Oh.
It's like you can't see cigarettes.
But I mean, if I saw weed as a child, I'd go into another package that's maybe colorful and not.
I think they just don't want, because you can't see tobacco either. Like I couldn't have tobacco in a clear tube and sell it, or a clear baggie. Here you go. You can't sell it in like a Ziploc bag. Like I can't sell weed in a Ziploc bag. It has to be in a certain kinds of packaging with the duty stamp on it. But it's just that companies take it to an extreme too. So sometimes you'll get pre-rolls and they want it to look like it. It's like how cosmetics work. It's like, okay, well, you got this tiny little fucking bit in this thing inside of another thing inside of another thing.
Yeah.
So it'll end up being this big and you're like, $20, that's a good deal. And then you get it and you're like, there's fuck all in there. So the weed industry's doing a bit of that. Pisses me off. But then also, this black plastic. Black plastic's actually technically recyclable in Toronto. It's just our machines register it as a negative void, so it doesn't sort it. So I keep telling people, use white plastic because then it can go out. Or better yet, something biodegradable. It's like a one-use item.
Yeah.
What are we not using? Corn or hemp plastic, which will just disappear. I don't know. I saw once, actually, I love this idea, where someone had made a plastic that has nutrients in it for plants so that when it goes out into the world, it becomes food for whatever plants are there.
Yeah.
Like the garbage dump or whatever. But then that's, rather than toxins going in the soil, it's nutrients. I like that idea.
I feel like we have no plan to get away from plastic.
No, it's definitely an addiction. And I think even myself, it's convenient to have certain things, and also sanitary. So COVID really, plastic went way up the roof once COVID hit, because everyone's like, I gotta have everything covered, and like, oh God, the poor Pacific garbage patch, just being like, wow, it was just a germ, guys.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a germ, it was serious to some people. But yeah, I hated that part. So I remember one time I used to always, when I would go vending at events, have cookies underneath a dome that were fresh. No, now. Mm-hmm. It's still technically legal as long as the dome's on there or a sneeze shield. But people are like, ew, it's not wrapped individually in plastic. I can't. They just, it's okay. It's totally clean. I got tongs. I got gloves on. No.
I think about it like, I feel like when you think about water, like everyone carrying around water, and then we try to get away from like single-use plastic bottles, but then everyone buys all these like reusable ones, but then there's like a new one that comes into a trend, and I'm pretty sure the reusable water bottles are becoming a problem.
A lot of them are shitty and leak.
And then
how many times have you bought a water bottle and it's fucking leaking on you?
Yeah, but it's also like there was a time when we just didn't carry water around with us.
We had
like,
gourds.
You had, but like,
where's my gourd? Harriet with a piece of rope on my backpack. Put everything in the gourd. I don't know. Horns. We had horns.
But even like we had drinking fountains, right? Like,
yeah, that was a weird one to see. A lot of the drinking fountains go wayside. Like some of them just don't work across the city. They do in the beaches where I'm from, but downtown they don't work. So I think because downtown, it's fucking gross down there.
Yeah,
it's just a hellhole down there. Whereas like the beaches is clean, so they're like, okay. I don't know if there's
some hippies up on the beaches who are keeping it together.
There's also no fentanyl heads.
Yeah.
So I would understand that. Like where I used to live, I used to take my dog into Allen Gardens Park, which is like a horrible place to take your dog, but there was nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Excuse me, tiny parks around, but that was like a lot of dogs were there, so you could really get a good exercise. But yeah, that fountain didn't work. Wonder why that one didn't work. And it had one for dogs too, and it didn't work. So they had a foot pedal one, but like the city just no.
That's so cute.
Yeah,
but also
not anymore. Someone would probably pee in it.
It's sad how little like community space we can have nowadays.
Well, they do have rules, or there's supposed to be, where there's supposed to be a certain amount of green space per people. And that doesn't always happen. Through me and my dog go, that's where we go. Especially during COVID, I'm like, I hate the world. I'm going to go off to the woods.
Yeah.
So we would find little ravines. And then I have a little YouTube channel with him.
Oh my God.
Doing a little
What's
nature
your
tool.
YouTube channel called?
My dog's Wayward Canadian Dog. I just follow him with a camera and a gimbal and like put it to classical music or something.
I love it.
It's so cute.
So you can just see these different like nature areas and trails.
Yeah, I thought if I just start filming him and then show people like, hey, don't be scared of the woods. Also, let's protect our woods. Not too many in Toronto, and we need them. We need them for watershed. We need them for wildlife, and people don't think we need the wildlife in the city, but we do. We need the birds. You know, we need the bugs. We need all of that. We don't need tons of it, but we need them. And to just get rid of it, suddenly there's all these ecological problems when you don't have that around you. You know, people are like, oh my God, like the trees are dying. Why are the trees dying? It's like, well, there's nothing fucking pollinating them. Like, oh, well, we need that. It's like, well, we need more bugs then. Well, I don't like the bugs. And it'd be like, well, you like birds, right? You like the bird song. Well, you need them bugs too. So we got to protect it all.
It's a whole system.
It's a system. I know, like, places that don't respect that, you know, then they end up with these like horrible living situations where like, you know, there's too much sun, nothing lives. They can't get water there. And yeah, we need to protect Toronto.
So what are all the things we want to plug as we wrap it up?
Protect the environment.
The YouTube channel that you just said.
Oh yeah, we can promote my dog. Yep, Wayward Canadian Dog.
Wayward Canadian Dog.
That's my
then
dog.
There's puffmama.com.
.ca. Yeah, fuck.com. It's American. I'm kidding. I don't know.
That's
That's why I got .ca though. I thought it'd be better. Like, yeah, cute. Yeah, puffmama.ca, PUFFMAMA, and on social media, it's all puffmama420.
And then we can find your comedy show, at Comedy Bar.
I have my All-Star Bitches run at Comedy Bar. We have the 420 patio show that runs at the Green Merchant on Danforth. I have a show in the beaches called Kingston House Comedy. And yeah, we've got... When is this being released?
Next week.
Okay, might have time. I've got a pride show happening. Deanne Smith is going to come through. And then I've got some shows I'm planning outside of the city too. So, like, not a tour, but just get the fuck out. So I'm going up to Muskoka on June 18th. There's this weed place that's just opening up. So we're going to do a weed show up there.
Amazing.
Get out of the city, guys.
Okay, I love it. I feel like this was like a good interview to kick off the summer.
Yeah. Thanks
so
for
much
having me.
Thanks for coming, Joe.